Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the Dubai Sevens Women's Final, New Zealand versus Australia. It's a contest that we see time and time again on the women's circuit, and we are just at the kickoff now, getting underway for this very much so highly anticipated match. But we will go through the starting lineups, of course, as this match does just start to get underway. It is claimed by Maddie Levi, who will be partnering alongside Soraya Paki, Tarita, Nasa, Faith Nathan, Madison Ashby, and also Tegan Levi, also still in the starting lineup. For the Aussies, New Zealand, they have got Georgia Miller, Stacey Waka, Taneti, Poldy Lane, Maya Davis, Mahina Paul, and Jasmine Felix. Hotham trying to get the steal there on the breakdown. Was Georgia Miller unable to do so? Now Australia moving this one away to the right-hand side. NASA with a wide cutout pass to Madison Levi, one of the players that New Zealand definitely need to shut down. Beautiful quick hands from the Aussie women's side. So keep the ball alive. Madison Levi, that was almost a bit of a hospital pass and jumped on by Georgia Miller, the Black Ferns Sevens. Now have got themselves the position back. Let's go New Zealand. There's Jasmine there, and now Jasmine Felix Hotham. He tackle 45 metres out from the New Zealand line. Back across to the right. Skip pass from would have been Taneti. Georgia Miller trying to go through, but Faith Nathan hangs onto her legs and takes her down. Bounce pass. That looked like it was almost a knock-on from New Zealand. Maya Davis does well to be able to regather just in time, though. Felix Hotham, in fact, this time it's Poldy Lane, tries to step. At the moment, Australia defending nicely, but New Zealand starting to create a little bit of space, and the cellular dummy from Taneti doesn't find it away to Georgia Miller. That was a hard landing, smacking her head on the back of the on the hard Dubai turf. Offload from Stacey Waka goes to Miller. Now off to the left-hand side. Big wide cutout pass. We've had no stoppages whatsoever as of yet, and it's going to be a very energy-sapping one for both of these sides. Looping around. Passed on the outside. Stacey Waka for the corner. She will score it. And New Zealand get the first try of this contest. They strike early in this match in Dubai, but they were on attack for a good couple minutes before being able to break through. It was well defended initially from Australia, but it was that pass from Maddie Levi all those minutes ago that left the opportunity for New Zealand to counter-attack. New Zealand can't afford to sleep here, says Ruth, and try New Zealand, says Rory, and also do my best, Ruth. And New Zealand Ladies Sevens would beat Wales Men's 15, says Jimbo. Stacey Waka very nicely smiling all the way through, getting tackled as she scored the try. One's coming around. It's a decent strike at the ball, but just doesn't quite have the distance. So 3 minutes gone in this final, and New Zealand sitting 5-0 up over the Australian. Stacey Waka, she is currently third for all-time tries, although she has a long way to go before getting up to the top two. Michaela Brake and Portia Woodman-Whitcliffe kicked off by New Zealand. Now Georgia Miller making the tackle. Isabella Nasser, the co-captain, going to the bottom side of the field. Now pops it back up. Nasser gets the return pass. Miller thought about trying to contest for the ball. She's getting taken off the ball by Tegan Levi there after that breakdown. That was an interesting one, and it's almost left a bit of a gap here. Madison Ashby going off. And Tarita, that's another hard hit on the back of the head. That seems to be a trend at the moment out there in Dubai. There is not a lot of slide. Not a lot of give in the surface either. I'm struggling to see why scrums still happen in Sevens and League. Says DJ. On Sevens, they can set up opportunities on attack. And, that's a big step there. One of the Aussie players staying down after that. Faith Nathan trying to catch up with Taneti. But you can actually win a scrum penalty in a game of Sevens. But Taneti gets herself the try. New Zealand now move up to 10-0 up over the Australians. A very strong start. This one, Australia have talked about the fact that they had a very long pre-season, and perhaps that is now with the amount of fatigue from these Dubai Sevens matches. Perhaps that's starting to catch up a little bit. A bit of warm Arabian sun on the freezing UK afternoon. And yes, New Zealand, go New Zealand. And also we get that hard turf, says Ruth. Yeah, even in the sliding over on the goal line, to be fair, it's no sliding, it's just bouncing when you do land. We have got there, cheers Hamish, says DJ. That one has missed away to the side for New Zealand, so I will keep the score sitting at 10-0. Madison Levi, she is sitting at the top of the bunch with 7 tries, but Taneti has moved up to 5, alongside Georgia Miller. That one's going to be slapped back by Faith Nathan. Ball goes into touch off of Tegan Levi, and a bit of a push there on Poultry Lane. You can see the frustration for Australia. This game is not going their way. Last match we did see France, Andy Temu, having a bit of a go at a couple of the Fijians. I feel like maybe they're starting to push the buttons of Tegan Levi here as well. They're just showing the record in Cup finals. Australia have won 42%, New Zealand have won 79%. Surprised they missed the conversion, says Rory. Yeah, although to be fair, in Dubai we've seen hardly anything going over from any of the sides. Almost stolen by Australia at line-out time. And ball taken back. Poultry Lane looking for the pass, and it is going to be the penalty. Oh, that was almost getting into some trouble there as well, right in the face of the referee. And we have got the Aussie Beauty. We'll take it. Watch. Says Amber there. Yeah, currently 90 seconds remaining of this first half. Stacey Waka getting ready to take the quick tap for the Black Ferns Sevens. Doing a little bit of side shuffling there. For it would have been Mahina Paul. Now offload from Georgia Miller. Poultry Lane running it at Faith Nathan. Offload out the back door to Stacey Waka, tackled by Levi. And nobody cared about that yesterday. It was a joke. Says Flesh in there. And Aussie getting spanked. Says Big Rigger. Like, only 10 points difference. We have seen bigger comebacks. We saw Spain come back from 23 points down. Bit more aggression in the breakdown from Tegan Levi. Gives away another penalty though. 50 seconds now left in this first half. There was almost the opportunity for a steal in that breakdown. Tegan did go for it. And New Zealand have won 4 of the 5 finals between these sides last season. Mahina Paul just running it sideways at the moment, trying to find that next gap. And this Australian defence, here comes Jasmine Felix Otham, sells the dummy, tackled by Faith Nathan. A lot of dummy selling going on in this contest, and there's been a lot of bites, I guess you could say. Oh, beautiful step from Georgia Miller, goes back on the inside, and it will be the third try. She's got the hands on the hips. She is happy with that one. Trying to use up a few extra seconds, and Tegan Levi's face looks like she's about to punch someone. But it's a good finish there from the New Zealanders, and that is going to be straight out in front of the post as well, making it 17-0. Heading into the halftime break. It is going to be a tough deficit to be able to come back from. And need a contest, not a walkover, says Ruth. And Miller with a great step, and also try, says Purple Dragon. And there as well. Yeah, I think the way you would summarise that is New Zealand, they are all happy, smiling, having a great time out there in the final. They know that they are in control, whereas Australia, you can see the frustration and just the anger for this side that is normally cool, calm and collected. They had an easy semi-final. In fact, both of these sides did. Pretty one-sided in those matches, but yeah, the frustration, I don't think I've seen this Aussie side so angry out there on the park. So maybe just something not quite clicking. The 17-0, of course, does not help. I said 3 tries, but 7 minutes, and New Zealand's dominance across all forms of rugby, men's and women's union and seven is absolute, with a single exception of rugby league, of course. Although, to be fair, rugby league, they're not too bad either. I think New Zealand rankings for rugby league maybe about 4th or 5th. Do they have world rankings in rugby league? Rugby league, 1 second, world rankings. Whereabouts are the Kiwis at the moment, I wonder? I think, they're actually ranked 2nd in the world in the rugby league side of things. There you go. I would argue that in recent years, Springboks are dominant in 15s. Says Rory. Australia nervous and irritated. Says Ruth, and they haven't really had a huge amount of the ball either. So I feel like that is another part of it that's probably quite frustrating for this Aussie women's side, as they are used to having around that 60-70%. And Aussie's missing Kaslik's organisation skills. Says DJ. Yeah, there's a couple Aussie players missing for this leg of the Sevens, and it just seems to be affecting them a little bit. I feel like it's forbidden and the New Zealand Constitution to be bad at rugby. Says Big Rig. Second half of this one just around the corner. Can the Kiwis hang on to it? A 17-point lead going into the second half. 27 minutes away from that Australia versus New Zealand men's matchup. It actually sounds like it's quite far away, to be fair, but it is correct. It just seems like these two games, we're going to be directly after each other. Hi guys, says Philip. Welcome in, Philip, again. You are doing extremely well. Now, pass back across. Oh, big collision there, and it's accidental obstruction from the Kiwis. It gives Australia the early opportunity in this half. They will be 25 metres out from New Zealand's line with the scrum feed. And this is where they need a try. They score now, gets them straight back into this game, and there is plenty of time still left on the clock. And we've got to remember, New Zealand missed 2 kicks out there on the field. Hey, wild, it's Philip Bailey in the house. Says Ruth there. Australia are on a 32-match winning streak in Dubai since the 2020 season, not losing here in 2,185 days. That's a crazy amount of days that they are currently having record in Dubai. That's insane. And at the moment, they are down by 17, so they need to strike if they want to keep that streak alive. Faith Nathan running this one sideways. Has the option on the outside. Almost a drop ball for the Australians, but well held on to there for Tarita. Trying to get in that breakdown, though. New Zealand trying to rip it away. And it's going to be a penalty, actually, against Tanetti. We have got there, Yo. I think that is from Joe, and also we've got the all good thanks to yourself, says Philip, doing very well, although the tiredness starting to kick in a little bit. We're currently sitting almost 5 a.m. here in New Zealand. Oh, another drop ball from Tegan Levi. It's gone backwards. She's fighting for possession. Does manage to get it back. It's a hospital pass. New Zealand picked the ball up, and that is just going to make Tegan feel even more infuriated as Reese Poldy Lane runs in the try that may have just secured New Zealand the win. It's going to be the 4th try now for New Zealand. That will move them up to 22 points to 0. And win is getting worse. Says Philip, well, hopefully the win does go away by the matchup or the Cape Town Sevens next week. And oh, what a try. And that's indoor rugby, says Jimbo. Yeah, picked up Reese Poldy Lane. She saw the opportunity to run it forward. We got the AU flag there from Apex, and that's it for New Zealand, says Pat, Purple Dragon Universe. And Philip, don't go windsurfing, okay, says Ruth. New Zealand missing that kick. Way to the side, keep it up, says Purple. Now moving into the last 10 minutes of this women's final. I mean, don't get me wrong, some people probably thought a 10-point victory for one of these two sides. They're normally pretty close. But in this case, currently New Zealand 22-0 ahead. It's absolutely huge. Maddie Levi, she has just got there. Yep, Felix Hotham's going to be going to the bin. Maddie Levi passing the ball into her when she's only a couple metres away from the sideline, trying to block it there. Strategic from the Black Ferns, but it has actually given a golden opportunity to Australia to get back into this game. They need a try per minute. The only surfing today is YouTube, says Philip. Quick tap taken by Maddie Ashby. Passing it across. The one lady advantage now. Faith Nathan passes it to Ashby. Big collision there. Now another drop ball. Is this counted? Okay, not Saeli. They have said that it was in the process of making the tackle. Oh, no, subs being made. I thought for a second they were going to check that one on the TMO. New Zealand are looking to win a cup title for just the 3rd time after losing a poor match earlier in the tournament. They did lose that game to the USA. And shame there was another fatal shark attack in Australia yesterday. Says Ruth, was there? I had no idea. I don't really see a lot of the news. To be honest, outside of rugby, I have no idea what's going on in the whole world. Fiji siphoned all the Wallaroos gas. It was a tough game, wasn't it? Some big shots coming in. Dennis makes her way on. She's actually been one of the better impact players for Australia throughout this competition. Got plenty of pace. And that is going to be for co-captain Isabella Nasser. And how's the shark? Says Philip. Now Faith Nathan. So another 90 seconds remaining of that Jasmine Felix Hotham yellow card. They look to use their backline. Dennis looping around. Tia Hines. And now pace being shown there by, I believe it was Mackenzie Davis. Now Georgia Miller making another tackle. It would be a statement victory here for New Zealand if they could keep the Australians to 0 on the board, although this is a big chance now. Pace being shown by Dennis. Stacey Waka, she gave up on the chase. Missed tackle just as I say that. Australia score themselves the try. And this game now is back up for grabs. Running it right round to make it a nice easy conversion as well. This game far from over. Still another 3 minutes remaining in the second half. And still the one lady advantage. Heidi Dennis is a unit, says Rory. And try time says Apex there. And you're moving into summer, mate. If you look out the front door, says Fleshin, yeah, although only about 4 weeks ago or so it was snowing here. So I don't think anyone told the weather that it was supposed to be heading into summer. Now it was kicked off short by the Australians, bounces up into the hands of the Black Ferns. Big Fen from Mahina. Paul, she's just going to back herself to run it across field. Georgia Miller ankle tapped around the halfway line. Another advantage this time for New Zealand from a high tackle. Come on. New Zealand says purple there. And no snow here, just rain, says Big Rig Joe. To the halfway line, Tanetti again. She has a really bad habit of hitting her head on the ground. And I do think that needs to be sorted, because or else she is going to concuss herself. Right, they're going time off at the moment. Felix Hopen, she is allowed to make her way back onto the field. Just the 2 minutes left on the clock. 22 points to 7, the scoreline. And New Zealand got the Aussies number. Says Haino. And during that sin bin, we did see the one try being scored by the Australians. And try, says Ruth. And coach told her to use her head, says Big Rig. Yeah, it just looks painful though. Like every time she lands, she kind of whiplashes the head backwards, slaps it on the ground. And Dubai doesn't look like a very forgiving surface. Tackles 11 so far made by New Zealand compared to the 7 made by the Australians. Now that is a big scrum. Kept on the side of the Kiwis. Felix Hotham, she'll be fresh after that 2-minute break, and she is collided with a tackle by Caitlin Shave. Snowing really? I've not seen that up here in a few years, says Fleshin. Yes, yeah, it's probably been a good at least 5 years since the last time that it snowed, and it just randomly one night decided that it was going to. Because of how much rain we had beforehand, though, it didn't set. But no, we had a really weird time in terms of weather. 2 weeks ago, it was hailing, probably hail about that big, when we were playing cricket. Luckily, I had a helmet on while batting, but yeah, it's weird weather. And New Zealand scored next game over, says Jasmine, but now Australia are going to use their back line. That's a driving tackle, and she has stayed down. Bit of physicality there from Caitlin Vahakolo. It's going to be play on, and Georgia Miller will score this one between the posts. They may just check to see if there was a tip tackle. Going to use up a little bit more time there, Georgia Miller, as well as Caitlin Shave goes over. 50 seconds now remaining. Right, that was a double blow of the whistle. I think they're checking this one to see whether or not there was a tip tackle. 27-7 says suck in there as well. Reminds me when Ronda Rousey used to hit herself in the face with her shoulder when she threw punches. I don't think that's as bad as it looked for Va'akola. She does lift a leg, though. There's no foul play in this scenario, so the try will stand. And New Zealand now move up to 27 points. Georgia Miller scoring it between the posts, so it will be a nice, easy kick for the Kiwis as well. But they are going to win this one comfortably in Dubai, ending the over 2,000-day streak for the Australians. Now we have got there. Okay, so I was wrong about the women's result. Tackle was legal, says Rory, and go the Black Ferns Sevens. Obviously, the Aussies are missing Kaslik. Yeah, frustration at the moment as well. Not on the horizontal textbook tackle. Yeah, I think the good news was it wasn't late. Like, had it been late, that could have been a different story. But Braxton Sorrison McGee will be kicking this one off. She will get about 30 seconds at the end of this game. Taken down by Tegan Levi. Hasn't quite had the game that she would have been after in this matchup. But to be fair, I don't think many of the Australians actually have the way that they've been able to play. And now another offload, and this is an opportunity. This might be the try for Australia. Will be a consolation at the end of the game, but it is the try for Heidi Dennis. Does score it there. And hopefully Braxton gets more game time next week, says Jasmine. Yeah, in this final, getting a whole about 30 seconds in this case. But New Zealand, it should be the victory. We will add the points. So a 15-point victory for the Black Ferns Sevens over the Aussies. Just let her score, and consolation try for Australia, says Rory there. And also New Zealand tries, says Purple there. But New Zealand, Braxton Sorensen McGee, she gets herself a gold medal here for the Kiwis in her first debut tournament. See there as well. I think that is Teresa Setefano. We hardly saw her out there on the field and celebrating the victory in men's and women's rugby in New Zealand today. Says Suck there. And yeah, currently just a 15 minutes away. Hardly saw Madison Levi throughout that game. I think that was down to New Zealand having a lot more of the possession. Just trying to stop any chance of her touching the ball. And celebrating the victory. Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? Poor Aussies travelled 12,000 kilometres just to get beat down. Says Big Rig Joe. Although they did still make it through to the final. They get the silver medal, which is a lot more than most sides have. In this case, Maddie Levi. Having a bit of a conversation there with Georgia Miller. But that is going to be the end of the stream too. We are back in 15 minutes, like I said, for the next game taking place between New Zealand and Australia. Fun fact, it is the same two sides, but just the men's side rather than the women's. Thank you all very much for being here, and I will see you all for the next one.